chances that I can get my cello back in the orchestra and come back?
Okay, everybody, thanks for coming. We're going to get started with our program. Please find a seat. Thank you. We were worried that nobody would come. So I'm thrilled with this turnout and excited that you're all here. I think I've spoken to most of you since you got here or over the phone the last few weeks or year. But if not, I just want to give you a warm welcome to the very first hopefully have very many induction ceremonies for the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Usually when I say that, I get a response of, it's about time, so I understand. My name is Dave Paddock. I'm the co-chair of the Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, along with my partner, Jim Castor. Where's Jim? Jim's sitting back there, class of 1964, Fairport High School. Jim was the manager of my dad's basketball team for 4 years in a row. He then goes to RIT, gets involved in sports information. Then he graduates, gets a job with the Democrat and Chronicle. This is like 1932 or something. It was a while ago. He still works for the DNC, writing sports articles, and he's been the editor for the DNC for a long time, the sports editor. So we're lucky to have Jim here. Give Jim a welcome, please. Thank you. My wife warned me that, I wrote a script out, she said, make sure you stay with the script. I haven't even got to it yet, so could be a long night. Well, I want to also recognize our student musicians who've been performing back there under the direction of one of my former students and one of the great music teachers at Fairport High School and all the schools in the district. Elena Rick, how about a round of applause for our musicians? But they're not done. We're going to hear them again tonight. So anyways, I am thrilled that this is happening tonight. It's been something I've thought about for a long time. I've only been a Red Raider fan, though, since 1953, when I started going to basketball games, football games, baseball games at Fairport High School on West Avenue. I can remember going to games there when my dad was coaching the basketball team. Well, I can't really remember. I was really, really little then, 1953. I don't want you to think I'm too old. But they had to stop the games sometimes to mop up the floor because it leaked, the gym leaked, the lights blinked on and off. The other schools made fun of Fairport High School because it was such an old building built in the 30s. But I'm sure some of you remember that. Who remembers going to games there? Don Long, Larry DeRizio, a few people, that's good. I remember the little brown jug games. It was always snowing, it was always cold, it was always muddy. I think we always won, too. That's what I remember, right, Coach Santini? Who else remembers going to those old games at the West Avenue field or Minerva Deland, the little brown jug games? Who remembers that? There's a few more people. That's good. I don't want to feel like the oldest Red Raider here. I remember when they built the new high school. I'm talking about Minerva Deland. That was the new high school when I was a kid. I lived across the street from there. We couldn't believe it. It had a pool, which was a big deal at the time. I grew up across the street from Minerva Deland. I think from the late 50s till the late 60s or 70s, I don't think I missed more than 2 or 3 athletic events at the school. I'd get out of school at Johanna Perrin, maybe stop home on the way, but run across the street and watch the soccer games or the football games or the baseball games or whatever. So I got to tell you, being a Red Raider, man, it's in my blood. I love it, and I know you do too. That's why you're here tonight. And the person when I look out there tonight, I see Don Santini. Talk about loving Fairport Red Raiders, and we're so glad that Don's here tonight. The last thing I wanted to mention that I remember is in 1969, they opened up a new high school. They're going to build a new high school, this one. All we could think of is, why are they building it out in the middle of nowhere? Because Fairport then was the village. But boy, they knew what they were doing. And the class of '69 petitioned the Board of Education to name the new school Fairport High School. No offense to Minerva Deland or Johanna Perrin or Martha Brown or all those women who used to teach here. The kids in Fairport High School wanted to go to Fairport High School, and they named it Fairport High School, which is, thank God they did. So that's what is here tonight. Fast forward a few years after all those memories, and next thing you know, I become principal at Fairport High School. How that happened, I don't know, but it happened. I was lucky enough to be part of the creation of the Alumni Hall of Fame, which is still going. I'm still on that committee. The Student Hall of Fame, and the Educators Wall of Distinction, which is a wonderful thing. I've always believed, though, that why don't we have an athletic Hall of Fame? Of all the schools in Monroe County or New York State, we deserve to have an Athletic Hall of Fame. So in the summer of 2023, I approached Brett Provenzano, our superintendent, and proposed the idea that Fairport was certainly one of the strongest athletic programs in New York State. Oh, by the way, we just won 2 more state championships. How about that? Yeah. Boys soccer undefeated, and girls volleyball for the 2nd year in a row. Last year, both volleyball teams won the state. I better not get back into how great we are, because it'll go on forever. But anyways, we should indeed have an Athletic Hall of Fame to honor the amazing legacy and to inspire our student athletes growing up in Fairport today. Brett, in his usual fashion, was very supportive. And after a year and a half of establishing an amazing committee, they're all here tonight, creating Hall of Fame bylaws, and most importantly, electing this impressive first class of inductees, we are here tonight to celebrate the legacy of athletics in Fairport. About that legacy, I'm really proud, as the former principal, I'm really proud of the focus, that the focus has always been on student athlete. Our teams have had tremendous success, no doubt. In fact, I would bet that no school in Section 5 has won more sectional championships at Fairport over the last 70 years. But what makes me most proud is the emphasis that our leaders in the athletic program, from Joe Cummings, who started it all, to Dave Martins, to Don Santini, to Jim Zumbo, and with our current athletic director, Fritz Killian, they have placed the emphasis on students first. Our athletes not only excel on the court, on the field, in the pool, but they've been successful in the classroom and in life. For that, those 5 athletic directors, our school leadership in general, boards of education, our coaches, parents, and the thousands of athletes who have represented Fairport over the years should be most proud. It seems that every year the great majority of our teams achieve the Scholar Athlete Award, and many, if not most, of our student athletes make honor roll. That's a legacy we should all be really proud of. I also know that the great legacy of athletic success we enjoy in Fairport wasn't built on the shoulders of superstars and famous athletes. I'll give you $20 if you can name Fairport's NBA players, Major League Baseball players, NFL players. That's not the legacy of Fairport. We have done it. We've done it with, we've had our share of highly recruited athletes, but the success has been built around teamwork, hard work, sportsmanship, great kids, and outstanding coaches. So we're here tonight to honor 12 icons of that legacy. I have so many people to thank for their roles in making this happen, and the first of those thank yous goes indeed to our superintendent, Brett Provenzano. Brett is a positive, encouraging leader, and his response when I approached him about this idea was exactly what I expected. Go for it. Thank you, Brett, for your ongoing leadership, for our district, and for your support of the Athletic Hall of Fame. I'd like you to come up, if you would, and say a few words. Brett Provenzano.
Thank you, David. And Dave did remind me a few words. I'm honored and thrilled to be a part of this evening and to be the superintendent of Fairport Central Schools. First of all, I think it's important that we recognize Dave Paddock. He had a vision, and seeing this vision come forward has been nothing short of remarkable. The community's love, pride, and spirit is alive and well in Dave Paddock. Dave. I also would like to thank our Board of Education. They expect that we celebrate and honor each other. They also recognize that the classroom goes beyond the 4 walls of this building or inside the classroom, and it's on the playing fields, it's in the theater. So I think Erica Bellis-Pacer, I think our board president is here somewhere. She wants to say, just wave over there. The Board of Education, without their support, none of this actually happens. So I'm grateful to be working alongside of them. Lindsay Reddick, where are you, Lindsay, and your team? Lauren, all right. Thank you very much, Lindsay. You did so many things to bring this to fruition. I know Dave's probably going to be mentioning it in a little bit, but I just had to hand it over to you. And look what we've done here. This is amazing. The community, again, pride, community love, and community spirit is right here in this room. I remember being a high school student and having my dad, I was a Webster student back in the day, drop me off to watch Don Santini's football games. And there was something special in the air. I remember when I was a young teacher, watching Caitlin Howe coming to Fairport High School, or watching her at Greece Athena because I knew she was going to be there. And then being a part of just this community is so inspiring. You can feel it. The feeling is so palpable, and it's second to none. And I think that's what we're celebrating here tonight. We have these amazing 12 inductees and their families who are a part of this, and the amazing coaches and administrators who have been a part of it. This is your night too, and I'm sure that everyone would agree that we're celebrating you here as well. I'm honored to be a part of it. Looking forward to this wonderful evening. And now I have the distinct pleasure to introduce the individual who is now leading the athletic department, Mr. Fritz Killian.
Thanks, Brett. First of all, thank you for all for coming, and I also want to thank Dave Paddock for his vision and for the rest of his members of his committee for bringing this Athletic Hall of Fame to life. I also want to thank our superintendent of schools, Brett Provenzano, for all of his support, our Board of Education, our high school principal, Bob Clark. I've always felt that there has to be a special relationship between the athletic director and the high school principal, and Bob and I work extremely closely together, so Bob, thank you for your support. My office staff, Lynn Arena, Pam Knaus, and Mike Trelli, thank you for everything. A lot of work went on behind the scenes. Our Director of Buildings and Grounds, Aaron Smith, our Communications Office, Buildings and Grounds, Custodial Services, Food Service, Technology Department, so many moving parts behind the scenes to make this evening possible. I also want to thank members of our varsity club. Some are right here in front. There's others throughout the room. They're going to assist tonight because that's what we're about. We're about our students. And most importantly, I want to congratulate all inductees and their families on their recognition. The Fairport Athletic Program, it is a standard of excellence within our Monroe County Public High School Athletic Association, Section 5, and New York State, and I'd also argue throughout the nation. Today's inductees, they represent that excellence and are an important part of that standard that we all strive for and inspire with our current and future programs. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Congratulations, enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Fritz, and thank you, Brett. I wanted to thank Fritz for, I approached Brett for the idea initially, and then connected with Fritz. And Fritz is a full-time athletic director, which is about 90 hours a week. So I couldn't ask Fritz to do much, but he's done a ton to help, and has been instrumental in making this happen. So thank you, Fritz, for all your help. We're going to get started with our inductions here. I know you'd rather hear me speak longer, but we're going to do the inductions next. But I wanted to acknowledge our three helpers right here. Hannah Bies, Sadie Palmer, and Carmody Eckler are members of the varsity club. They're also Section 5 field hockey champions this year. And they've served on our committee. They're full members that vote and participate in our meetings. They've done a great job. I just getting to know them a little bit better, and they're going to help with our presentations tonight too. So thanks, girls, for being here and helping as always. So, Coach Fitch, you want to come up and help with the first presentation? Our first inductee into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame is appropriately the man many consider to be the father of the Fairport Athletic Program. We are so proud of that program, and tonight we are honoring Joe Cummings, former athletic director and coach, as the first inductee. Joe Cummings began his career as a teacher and coach in 1936 after graduating from Cortland State Teachers College. While at Cortland, he starred in football all 4 years and was the team MVP his senior year. He also started as a guard on the basketball team and was a standout on the track and field teams as well. Eventually, Mr. Cummings, as I always knew him, was enshrined into the Cortland Athletic Hall of Fame. One of Mr. Cummings' unique experiences took place during the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, when he was one of a select group of young phys ed teachers from across the country who attended the games to present the latest ideas and techniques of coaching and teaching phys ed to athletes and coaches from around the world. That was an amazing experience that was a source of special pride for Joe for the rest of his life, and rightly so. Following the Olympics, it was on to Fairport to begin his career, his amazing career as a teacher, coach, and eventually the first director of athletics for the Fairport School District. While he took a 4-year leave of absence during World War II as a Navy lieutenant, the next 4 decades were focused on his career and family in Fairport. Joe and his bride of 1939 married, raised their children in Fairport, and all are Fairport High School graduates. During his long tenure at Fairport, Mr. Cummings made things happen. He played a major role in starting the tradition of the Little Brown Jug game between Fairport and ER. Among my special memories growing up in Fairport are the bonfires held right where the district office parking lot is now, the night before the ER game, and then the march to the Cummings house on 5th Avenue, where Coach Cummings would come out to his front step and give us a rousing Beat ER speech. That sounds like a movie, doesn't it? That's how it was in Fairport back in the day. We even got to toss a stuffed ER dummy into the fire. That was the best part of the whole night. I guess you don't do that anymore. You don't get away with that. Following a successful coaching career, including basketball, track, and football, Joe was named the first director of athletics for Fairport in 1960, a position he held until his retirement in 1973. During that time, as Fairport grew, he added numerous sports to both the boys and girls program, helped start the Monroe County Hockey League, began the Red Cross Summer Swim program at the new high school, Minerva DeLand, the pool, and was the main drive behind making sure that the new Fairport High School, where we are tonight, would have the biggest gym and the best athletic facilities of its time when it opened in 1971. Coach Cummings was also inducted into the inaugural class of the Section 5 Football Hall of Fame. He always represented our school and community with integrity, professionalism, and class at all times. As most of you know, our football field here at Fairport High School is rightly named Joe Cummings Field. His legacy in our school district is and always will be one that we all benefit from. Mr. Cummings is actually credited with bringing the Raider name to our teams that prior to his time were often simply called the Fairport Reds. Thank you, Joe Cummings, for creating so much of what all of us Red Raiders enjoy today. And so it is our honor to induct as the very first member of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, former teacher, coach, and our first director of athletics, Mr. Joseph Cummings. Accepting this award for Mr. Cummings today is his son, my former teammate, Joe Cummings, Jr. Joe? Don't drop that, Joe. For our next induction, one of our former basketball players, former student at Fairport High School, class of 1997, got that right? Kate Stoutenberg-Buss will do the presentation, and Coach Fitch, you'll stay up and help her again. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. All right, our second inductee tonight is Mike Fennell. Mike's family moved to Fairport in 1968, and he quickly made friends at Craig Road Park. He then began skating on the Erie Canal, which was nearby. Those skills developed, and he made the varsity hockey team as a sophomore. In football, he played safety on Coach Santini's second team at Fairport. As a senior, he was a proud member of its undefeated team that was ranked #1 in the state, and most importantly, beat East Rochester in the Little Brown Jug game that year. However, Mike left his biggest mark at Fairport on the baseball diamond. He was an All-County in 1977 and 1978, playing under Dave Lanning. He hit over 300 and averaged about an RBI a game. He was a powerful hitter with a lot of home runs and would have had even more if the fields had fences back then. Mike attended Lemoyne College, where he lettered all 4 years on teams that made the NCAA each year and advanced to the College World Series twice. When he left Lemoyne, he was a first-team All-American and the all-time leader in home runs. Later, he was inducted into Lemoyne's Hall of Fame. He was drafted by the New York Yankees in the 11th round in 1980 and moved steadily up the chain until he suffered a shoulder injury requiring surgery, which ended his playing career at AA. The Yankees, however, knew what they had with Mike, and he was added to the AAA coaching staff, and then he proceeded to be the bullpen catcher for 4 seasons in the Big Apple. Along the way, he befriended many stars like John Elway at Oneonta, Tommy John, Don Mattingly, and Dave Winfield, who brought him backstage at Madison Square Garden to meet Big John Studd and Andre the Giant. However, his marriage to Erin and his firstborn Ryan brought him back home to Rochester. He was recruited to coach baseball at McQuaid, where he led the team to over 200 wins in just over 10 years. That included a sectional title and a runner-up finish in the New York State Finals. He's a member of the McQuaid Hall of Fame and the Section 5 Baseball Hall of Fame. Sadly, Mike lost his battle to cancer in 2002. He touched many lives during his short time with us. He was always giving of his time, both coaching and mentoring young players. Mike is most deserving of this award, not only because he was a great athlete, but because he was a wonderful human. It is our honor to induct Mike Fennell into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Accepting his award tonight is his brother, Tim Fennell.
Thank you, Tim. Glad you could be here. Thanks, Coach. Our next inductee into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame is Caitlin Howe. Caitlin was a 2002 graduate of Fairport High School. I'm sorry, Karen Thal, would you please come up? Help us with this. Thank you, Karen. Karen was Caitlin's coach throughout her career at Fairport. Caitlin Howe was a 2002 graduate of Fairport High School and a 6-year member of the girls' varsity basketball team. Caitlin's unprecedented varsity career began as a 7th grader at age 12. I'm trying to think what I was doing at age 12. Wasn't on the varsity basketball team. She was a starter and a key contributor in leading the Red Raiders to its first ever Class A sectional title. She continued to lead the team to 3 more sectional titles and 3 trips to the New York State Class A Final Four. During her varsity career, she shattered and still holds almost every school record. Most notably, she scored a single game high 39 points, shooting 9 for 12 from 3-point range. 9 for 12 from 3-point range. I have to say that twice because it's just hard to believe. While being double teamed against a nationally ranked team. Caitlin became not only the most prized recruit in Section 5 history, but also one of the most sought after players in the country. By the end of her 8th grade season, she was being recruited by almost every top 25 program in the nation. Among her accolades, 4-time first team All-Greater Rochester, 2-time All-Greater Rochester Player of the Year, 2-time All-State Team, USA Today All-State Team, USA Today All-American, Street and Smith All-American, 2002 Ronald McDonald All-American. In Caitlin's junior year, Fairport was playing in a state regional game in front of a standing room only crowd. Caitlin was 1 point away from scoring her 2000th career point, unheard of as a junior. As she was driving to the basket, she collapsed with a torn ACL, ending her season with 1,999 points. After surgery and rehab, she returned to play her senior year. A few minutes into her first game back, she scored a basket, making her the 9th player in Section 5 history to reach the 2,000-point milestone. After a tremendous celebration, I was at that game, I remember it well, the game resumed, and moments later, she re-tore her ACL. We're talking a minute later. I've never been in a gym that went so quiet as when Caitlin went down with that injury, ending her varsity career with 2,001 points. Accomplishments and statistics aside, Caitlin's true legacy was how she impacted and changed the culture for girls basketball throughout Section 5. Crowds of all ages flocked from miles away, filling gyms to capacity just to watch her play. Her leadership, determination, resilience, and positive energy were infectious, exemplifying her as an ideal role model for all. It was a common sight to see lines of young girls wanting her autograph after games. Caitlin Howe was truly the Caitlin Clark of high school basketball in that day. I also want to mention, Caitlin was on honor roll and a member of the National Honor Society throughout her high school career. She accepted a full scholarship to Duke University, at that time a top 5 basketball program in the country. Unfortunately, a third ACL tear and other injuries kept her sidelined most of her college career. But she never let her injuries define her. Her grit, determination, and leadership skills prevailed, earning her honor of team captain at Duke and many other prestigious collegiate awards. She graduated in 2006 with high honors and went on to earn her MBA and law degree from the University of Buffalo. Caitlin couldn't be here tonight. She currently lives and works on the West Coast with her family, but it is my honor to induct Caitlin Howe, our honor, all of us, to induct Caitlin Howe, class of 2002, as the next member of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Accepting her award tonight, and we're thrilled that you're here, is her sister Erin and her brother John. Come on up, you two. Thank you. One more. Thanks for being here, John and Aaron. We really appreciate it. Our next inductee will be Mike Carr, and Coach Fitch is back here to help us with that. Our next inductee to the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame is Mike Carr from the class of 1972. Mike arrived in Fairport in the summer of 1969, having moved here with his mom and sister Beth from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Soon after arriving, Mike joined Coach Fitch's basketball program during Coach Fitch's second year as the Red Raider coach. Prior to Mike's arrival, the basketball program had a few down years with just one win in 67-68 and 3 in 68-69. Mike immediately embraced Coach Fitch's emerging culture of teamwork, unselfishness, and sound basketball. Mike's basketball journey actually began in 4th grade on the outdoor courts in Tucson, Arizona, where his family had lived before moving with his mom and sister to Wisconsin. In 9th grade, Mike captained his middle school team to the Oshkosh City Championship and earned his school's award for outstanding athletic and academic achievement. Upon arriving in Fairport as a sophomore, Mike quickly learned that Coach Fitch kept the gym open during the summer. Eager to meet his new teammates and continue his basketball growth, Mike went to Minerva DeLand Gym every day, where Coach Fitch gave him a daily conditioning and skills program, which he followed religiously. Mike's passion for the game was impressive, and during off seasons, Mike and his teammates found every possible gym from Palmyra to Pittsford that they could sneak into for a few hours or less of pickup games, depending on when they were caught and chased out of the gym. Mike's high school career showed steady progression. As a sophomore, he started all 18 games, averaging 8 points per game, including a crucial game-tying free throw and an impressive 17 for 18 free throw performance against the East Rochester Bombers. Mr. Baines, were you in that game? If I recall, Fairport won. If I recall, we always won. I thought you were in that game. The team finished 6-12 that year, and Mike always stayed after practice every night for additional shooting instruction, perfecting his jump shot, and his free throw form. His junior year saw the team improve to 10-9, with Mike averaging 12 points per game before a loss in the first round of the sectionals. His senior season proved transformative. The team became league co-champions, won their first 16 games, and finished 17-3, reaching the sectional quarterfinals. Mike averaged 17 points per game and earned all league honors. Mike truly embodied the ideal Fairport athlete: coachable, humble, positive, and passionate about practice and getting better, and an excellent student in the classroom. Mike, who only arrived in Fairport as a sophomore, became the class president as a senior, in the class of '72, and the National Honor Society vice president. As a Saturday morning basketball program mentor for young players, he helped build the program's winning culture. Mike's leadership, character, and dedication clearly played a major role in laying the foundation of Fairport's 50-year basketball legacy, which continues today. After graduating from Fairport High School, Mike played 3 years of college basketball at the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. He will soon, in about 2 weeks, retire after a long and successful career, first as a Coast Guard officer and more lately as a National Transportation Safety Board investigator. Clearly, Mike Carr represents the best of us as Fairport Red Raiders. He was also previously inducted into the Alumni Hall of Fame. And it is our honor and mine tonight to induct Mike Carr to the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Mike is here. Congratulations, Mike. 3 years, not 4 at the Coast Guard. There you go. Good job. We're going to take a 2-minute break from speeches. I know you're enjoying it, but we're going to take a 2-minute break from speeches because our musicians have to leave, and they are going to perform one more number, I believe. Elena, are you still there?
Yes.
There she is, hiding back there. I know a lot of events, they start the event by saying, would everyone please rise while we play the national anthem. We're not playing the national anthem, but I'm going to ask you all, please rise while we play the Fairport fight song. And turn around and watch the musicians back there. It's all yours, Elena. If you know the words, feel free to sing along. Nobody knows the words. Thank you. Let's big round of applause for our musicians and Elena Rick. Great job, you guys. That's not usually played by the orchestra, but those are orchestra members, not the jazz band. Am I right, Elena? A blend. Gotcha. Elena Rick, what a great teacher she is, and a proud Fairport alum as well. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
Okay, back to our inductions. For the next induction, I'm going to ask Amy Bruckle to come on up and assist Kate, who will be doing the presentation. Thank you.
All right. Our next inductee is Stacy Kowick-Skalicki. Thanks, Dave, for giving me the easy name tonight. Fairport's softball program was taken to new heights in 2009 when the team's star pitcher, Stacy Kowick, led Fairport to its first ever state championship game. Not only did she elevate the program with her high level of play, but she literally jumped over a catcher to score the winning run in the state semifinal game. Now that's elevation. Stacy was a one-of-a-kind player. She loved pitching so much that she set up a mattress in her basement so she could pitch indoors without a catcher during the winter months. When she was in 5th grade, she tried to come to Fairport softball program's winter workouts, And although she was too young, Coach Carr knew she would be something special. By the time Stacy was in 9th grade, she was the dominant pitcher in Section 5. Stacy led the team to 4 league titles and 3 sectional titles in her 4 years on varsity, including that run all the way to the state title game in 2009. The team's record that year was 25-3. Stacy was dominant on the mound that season, striking out 309 batters and only allowing 5 earned runs in 171 innings, which is an ERA, earned run average, of 0.20. She threw 8 no-hitters and even had 1 perfect game. She was virtually unhittable, throwing her fastball around 65 miles per hour and showcasing a wicked curveball that batters could only dream of contacting. But she wasn't just dominant in the circle. She led the team at the plate as well. She was a powerful left-handed hitter whose career batting average was .511, amassing 14 home runs, 74 extra base hits, and 119 RBIs in 4 years. To say it's unusual to have a pitcher also be your standout hitter is an understatement. On the mound, she had a career record of 62-10, 908 strikeouts, and an ERA of 0.49. She pitched nearly 500 innings and only allowed 35 earned runs. Stacy was named to the first team All-County all 4 years, was the Division I Player of the Year and Section 5 MVP 3 times, and was the All-Greater Rochester Player of the Year in 2009. She was named to the first team All-State that year as well, and these are just some of the awards that she won. But despite all her successes and her accomplishments, Q, as she was called on the team, was the same old level-headed kid. She never wasted a minute of practice not being productive. She supported and acknowledged her teammates and gave 1,000% in everything she did on the field. She was consistently the hardest working player on the team. And although she was confident, she never acted like the best player on the field, despite always being the best player on the field. Stacy went on to pitch at Syracuse University and helped SU win the Big East in 2 of her 4 seasons. Her team went to the first round of the College World Series 3 times. While at Syracuse, she majored in computer engineering and currently works at L3 Harris as a software engineer. She recently finished a master's degree in software engineering from RIT. She is married to her husband, Michael, and has a 2-year-old son, RJ, and another baby boy arriving in May. She was Fairport's JV softball coach for a few years before her son was born, and she still manages to play fast pitch and give pitching lessons in her spare time. Stacy was an easy choice for the inaugural class of Fairport's Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, because she has already been inducted into the New York State Hall of Fame for softball. It is our honor to induct Stacy Kowik-Skalicki into the Fairport Red Raider Hall of Fame. Stacy.
Our next inductee from the class of 1961 is Don Long. I would like to ask Larry DeRizio to come up and help me with this presentation. The way we did this is our members of our committee wrote the speeches, asked me to present them, I asked Kate to help, and so often the person who's up here presenting is the person who wrote the speech, or maybe even nominated the person, but not necessarily. Larry did a great job of helping us prepare our presentation for Don. Don Long was born and raised on Filkin Street in Fairport. He lived there with his parents and his 1 older brother. Don's dad worked at Wilmot Castle, and his mother was employed by Stromberg Carlson and then later Xerox. the Long family lived near Potter Park, providing Don with easy access to basketball courts, baseball fields, and tennis courts. He spent most of his time at the park and grew up with a true love of sports. In high school, Don played basketball, soccer, and tennis, as well as learning how to play squash. That must have been outside of school. He didn't have squash at school. Don told Larry that although he played baseball his freshman year, I couldn't hit, but I was hit by the pitch a lot, and I walked a lot. So then he went to tennis. He did excel in basketball and was all-county second team in 1960 and was selected first team all-county in 1961. I believe the first team to play at Minerva DeLand that year. Averaging, instead of that old gym, averaging 17 points per game. His high school coach, a guy named Wes Paddock, often recalled that Don Long was an outstanding basketball player and probably one of the best all-around athletes he had ever coached. Don received the 1961 Sportsmanship Award and was proud to receive the Security Trust Bank Award for the highest score on the trigonometry regents exam in 1961. It's the first time he's nodded his head. He's most proud of that, I guess. After graduating from FHS, Don attended Springfield College, where his athletic career continued in soccer, basketball, and tennis. After graduating cum laude from Springfield, Don accepted a position coaching soccer, tennis, and squash at Wesleyan College in Connecticut, where he stayed for 40 years. While at Wesleyan, he coached a guy named Bill Belichick. I'm just reading this, who Don says wasn't very good at football. That's a tough coach. Says the squash coach. Don's athletic career actually continues to this day. In the past 10 years, he has won 5 national age group tennis championships, national. He has won 2 gold, 2 silver, and 1 bronze medal at the World Team Tennis Championships and has been ranked number 3 in singles and number 1 in doubles in the world for Masters tennis rankings, while consistently being ranked number 1 or 2 nationally in the U.S. Don graduated in 1961, let's not forget that. In addition, Don authored a tennis book which sold 40,000 copies, and he was recently elected this year to the Rochester Tennis Hall of Fame. He's a busy man, and with the schedule that he keeps, we feel lucky that you are here tonight, Don. He's a proud father of 3 girls, and he says he still feels lucky that he grew up in Fairport and attended Fairport schools. Clearly, Don Long from the class of 1961 is an amazing representative at what it means to be a true Red Raider, and it is our honor to induct him as part of the inaugural class into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Please welcome and join me in congratulating Don Long. The girls are falling behind here. Mr. Long? There we go. Congratulations, Josh. Thanks for being here. Congratulations. Yeah. Kate, you ready? And we'll ask Mr. Zumbo to help with this one. Mr. Zumbo? Yes, with us.
Jim's way in the back. He's making his way up here. All right. Our next inductee is Dave Martins. Since its establishment, the Fairport Central School District has had only 5 athletic directors. Dave Martins succeeded Joe Cummings and served an 18-year tenure as the district's 2nd athletic director from 1973 to 1991. But Dave never thought of himself as just an athletic director. To him, his Fairport staff was a team, and he was the head coach. Just like any good coach does with his players, his job was to get the best out of them. And under his strong leadership as Fairport's Director of Health, Physical Education, and Athletics, he did just that with his teachers and coaches. Together with the help and support of school and community leaders, he continued to add to the rich tradition built by Joe Cummings. He guided a collaborative effort which ultimately developed Fairport's youth and school athletic programs into the standards by which all others would be measured. Dave was a major decision maker in the design and development of our district's physical education and athletic facilities, especially the FHS footprint. He was instrumental in developing a cooperative relationship between the Fairport Central School District and Town of Perrington, which allowed for the growth of youth programming through the sharing of district and town facilities. He was the athletic director who guided the growth of our athletic program during Fairport's enrollment boom, especially in the area of girls' sports, which doubled with the passing of Title IX. He played an integral role and was a driving force in the early success of Fairport Athletics' Big Red Machine. Dave was a longtime leader in the field of athletic administration. He was on the cutting edge of game management procedures and was the first to use radios for efficient communication by those supervising and managing athletic events. He was co-founder and president of the New York State Athletic Administrators Association, served as the organization's liaison to the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association, gotta say that 3 times fast, for 25 years. And as a staunch advocate of student athletes leading healthy lifestyles, he founded Section 5's Operation Offense, a task force to eliminate substance abuse in high school athletics. And for his efforts in that area, he received a special commendation from the United States Department of Justice's Drug Enforcement Agency and a Community Service Award from Eastman Kodak Company. Dave was recognized many times on the local, state, and national levels. The honors include the New York State Athletic Administrators Association Athletic Director of the Year, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association's Distinguished Service Award and Award of Merit, and the National Federation of High School Citation Award. He was inducted into the Rochester Sports Legends Frontier Field Walk of Fame, the Springfield College Athletic Hall of Fame, and the New York State Public High School Athletic Association's Hall of Fame. He was also inducted into the inaugural classes of the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association's Hall of Fame and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association Hall of Fame. To further honor him, the New York State organization named their annual awards luncheon the Dave Martins Award Luncheon. For all his efforts on behalf of student athletes, coaches, and athletic administrators in and outside of Fairport, and for the countless positive impacts he made on the Fairport athletic program, we are pleased to induct Dave Martins into the inaugural class of the Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Accepting the award tonight on behalf of Mr. Martins is Kathy Martins, his daughter-in-law.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Mr. Zumbo. Congratulations, Kathy. Thanks for being here. Our next inductee is Aaron McGraw-Legan, class of 2007, and Mr. Clark will come on up and help with this presentation. Aaron McGraw-Legan graduated from Fairport High School in 2007 and personifies exactly what is meant when we say good academics and good athletics go hand in hand. As a student, Erin was a member of the National Honor Society, and her teachers all described her as hardworking and a delight to have in class. Erin was also a high school All-American in girls swimming. To achieve All-American recognition in swimming, an athlete must post one of the fastest times in the country in their particular event. In girls high school swimming, there are 11 events. Erin McGraw earned 7 All-American designations in 5 different events during her phenomenal high school career. Erin was a 2-time New York State champion in 2006 and a 3-time New York State champion in 2005, and still to this day holds 6 Fairport High School girls swimming records. In 2006, Erin was named the New York State High School Female Swimmer of the Year, the Section 5 Class A Swimmer of the Year, and the WHAM High School Sportswoman of the Year at the annual Press Radio Club Awards dinner. Erin actually lost only one race of note during her high school career when she was challenged by the high school principal to a one-length winner-take-all sprint in the Fairport High School pool. With everybody cheering for Erin and nobody cheering for the principal, the crowd was shocked as the principal pulled away early and hung on for a fingernail-length win. Do you remember that, Erin? Yeah. In the end, I guess, the half-length of the pool head start that Erin gave the elderly swimmer proved to be just enough for him to eke out the questionable victory. But of course, Erin, despite never having experienced defeat in that pool before, ever, handled the debatable loss with her usual humility and grace. Unfortunately, or fortunately maybe, the video evidence of that race is gone. As a school leader, Erin was also the president of Student Council her senior year, and after graduating went on to Colgate University, where her success in the classroom and in the pool continued. Erin was the 2008 Patriot League Female Rookie of the Year, and in 2011 was named the Patriot League Swimmer of the Year and the Colgate University Female Athlete of the Year, after a career that saw her win 8 individual Patriot League swimming titles. Erin was a 2011 nominee for the NCAA Division I National Female Athlete of the Year. She set numerous records during her career at Colgate, 7 of which still stand. I guess we can say, Erin, you did pretty well. Erin's success as a student continued after Colgate as she went on to earn her doctorate in physical therapy and works as a physical therapist while raising 2 boys with her husband, Matt, right here in Fairport. Erin is also currently coaching part-time with FAST, the Fairport Area Swim Team Club, and loves being back in her hometown. As you can see, her combination of excellence in the classroom and in the pool make her a natural choice, and we are honored to induct Erin McGraw-Legan into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. And Erin is here. Good job, Erin. What's next? Thanks, Gary. Thank you. Our next Hall of Fame inductee is Coach Don Santini. Growing up in Fairport in the late 40s and 50s, and Coach Garrett, come on up. Thank you, Randy. Coach Garrett's going to help with this. Growing up in Fairport in the 40s and 50s, Don Santini's life revolved around family, school, and sports. As a 1950 graduate of Fairport High School, West Avenue, of course, Don excelled at football and baseball and started a lifelong love of his hometown, his alma mater, and of all things Red Raiders. As the first to utter the now famous phrase, "Once a Raider, always a Raider," Coach Santini has for decades been the epitome of a true Red Raider. After coaching stints in Morrisville and then Leroy, Coach Santini returned home to lead the Red Raider football team starting in 1975. 7 sectional titles, 2 state championships, 5 Coach of the Year awards, and hundreds of fortunate young student athletes later, Don gave up coaching and became the district's athletic director, following the footsteps of his high school football coach, Joe Cummings. Former Red Raider lacrosse coach Randy Garrett, who has stayed close with Coach Santini over the years, wrote a poem as a tribute to Coach Santini. Now remember, I said our committee wrote, I read. And we've got a poet here, and I'm going to read it now, Coach. It's great. The great Santini, born in a small town they call Fairport, played lots of games. He was always a good sport. Running in the cornfield till the day was done. As a little boy, it was important that he won. Don played center on the football team. It was then that he knew he had a dream. I want to be the coach of Fairport High. We'll always be number one, he said with a cry. Don wore red and blue for a coach named Joe. He taught him all he needed to know. His career took a turn at Brockport State. He captained the team that had a terrible fate. As a Golden Eagle, Don's skill really showed. As center on the team, he carried a heavy load. His success in college and high school were the same. It landed him in Fairport and Brockport's Hall of Fame. He had lots of superstitions on every game day. Socks and clothes were folded just the right way. Gotta wear red and fire up the team. Once a Raider, always a Raider became his theme. Each and every fall, the team heard a talk. Do it my way, or you can take a walk. Hold on to your helmets, don't let them fall, or my size 10 will be making you crawl. Don't ever be late, don't you know? Get a rooster so you can hear it crow. Stations, fourth quarter, the hill and the sled. In Death Valley, he coached the Big Red. 206 battles have been fought and won for the honor of this native son. The Raider Rock is named in his honor, a tribute to a coach who is like no other. Thank you, Randy. It's great. I might add, that's so well said, Randy, thank you. I might add, no other coach in our history could inspire his or her athletes like Coach Santini. Back in the day, they would run through a wall for him, and I'm sure most would do it today if asked. Certainly for me personally, one of the greatest honors of my career was to work along Coach Santini when I became the principal at Fairport High School. And so it is our honor to induct Coach Don Santini, Mr. Red Raider, into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Don still lives in Fairport. He is here tonight, and I hope we can bring him up and give him the round of applause he deserves. Coach. And Pat Santini is here too. I think, Pat, want to wave to us? We see you there? Yeah. I grew up on Potter Place, and Pat Santini grew up in the house right behind our house, so I've known Patty Lane for a long, long time. Don Santini and Patty Lane represent Fairport as well as anybody ever has. Thanks for being here tonight, you guys. I know it wasn't easy. Thank you. Our next inductee to the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame is Coach Jim Slazarski, often referred to, rightly so, as the father of lacrosse here in Fairport. Coach Garrett is again going to help us with this one. There were not many lacrosse teams in this area back in the mid and late 1960s, but Jim Slazarski, teaching social studies at Martha Brown at the time, was about to change that. Joining the Fairport faculty after playing lacrosse and graduating from Hobart College, SLU, as he is called by his many, many friends, was the driving force to get lacrosse started as the newest Red Raider sport in 1969. And once again, the poet laureate of the Fairport Athletic Program, Randy Garrett, has penned the following poem in honor of Coach Slazarski tonight. A Hobart grad started Fairport lacrosse in 1969. Sticks were made of wood, not plastic, by brine. The teams in the 70s were big, athletic, and tough, even though their stick skills were shaky and rough. The lacrosse goals in that decade were welded by the bear. Players were living in the hippie area and sported lots of hair. Battling area lacrosse powers Irondequoit and Webster, when suits were double-breasted and made of polyester. Gets better. Fairport's first game was against the JVs of West Jenny. SLU's Raiders scored the first goal. The Wildcats scored the next 20. First year. SLU was the first to put the goalies in and ride with 6 long sticks. He convinced the boys that if they played lacrosse, they'd get all the chicks. Fairport won their first sectional game versus Penn Yan. People took notice of the sport and became big fans. Coach SLU started the program and coached for 10 years, then added 4 more with the modified, changing gears. SLU is known as the Fairport. That's the father of Fairport lacrosse. His teams loved his humor and listening to the boss. SLU taught social studies too and coached wrestling and football. It's well deserved that James II Slazarski is voted into this hall. In 1979, SLU was inducted into the Western New York Lacrosse Hall of Fame. His former players continue to love him and this fun, exciting game. Once again, to this day, our lacrosse coaches often quote Coach SLU. And he continues to be a revered figure in the lacrosse world, not just here in Fairport. Jim also coached modified wrestling and served as an assistant football coach, but he made his mark, one that still resonates today in the lacrosse program. I think it's best to describe SLU as a dedicated, hardworking teacher and coach who practiced his profession with humor and grit. Jim and his wife Sue still make their home right here in Fairport, facing some health challenges, but made it here tonight. He embodies the Fairport spirit and our mantra of once a Raider, always a Raider. Despite those health challenges, in true Red Raider fashion, we're so happy that Jim could be here tonight. It is our honor to induct Coach Jim Slazarski as a member of the inaugural class of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Jim.
Larry.
Mr. DeRizio, want to come back up? Larry? Thank you.
Sam. All right. Our next inductee tonight is Sam Stolt. Sam was born and raised in Fairport alongside his sister. His father worked in the Fairport Highway Department and his mother at Strongburg Carlson. Growing up on the north side of Fairport, Sam loved sports at an early age and joined neighborhood kids at the East Avenue Playground and on Frank Street, literally on the street. Sam was always a good person, friendly, strong, but also kind. He was well liked in the neighborhood by children and parents alike. Sam was also a very humble person, and in fact couldn't understand why he was receiving this award. In his years at FHS, Sam did well in school and was a 3-sport athlete. He played football, basketball, and baseball from 1961 through 1964. On the basketball court, Sam was an exceptional shooting guard and one of the leading scorers on Wes Paddock's, yes, Dave's dad's team, for 3 of his 4 years. On the baseball field, Sam was an outstanding center fielder and hitter. Legend has it young kids used to line the fences just to watch him hit and break bats. However, his favorite sport was football, and he excelled as a running back and linebacker. Sam was also one of the captains of the football team and led his team on and off the field in exemplary fashion. In a football game at East Rochester in his senior year, he scored a 40-yard touchdown on a sweep left play, which was unfortunately called back as he had stepped out of bounds. However, on the very next play, Sam ran the same sweep left and scored a touchdown. He was unstoppable. Sam received 12 varsity letters and was an all-county in all 3 sports. He received honorable mention by Coach and Athlete magazine in 1963 and was named a Parade All-American football player. After high school, Sam was recruited by Florida State and the University at Buffalo, but he declined. He went on to serve in the U.S. Army and to this day remains a very proud military veteran. He then went on to work at Monroe Roadways and Xerox. He was awarded an art carving award at Xerox, which he still proudly displays today. Sam is married to his wife, Kathy, with whom he has 2 daughters, Christy and Cheryl, both of whom live locally. Sam appreciates his upbringing in the close-knit Fairport community and loves both the north and south sides. Sam and Kathy now spend their winters in Florida and their summers in Fairport. Sam remains fit by training and biking 6 miles each day at the YMCA, and he loves watching sport and is an avid golfer. Sam Stolt is a Red Raider in every sense. It is considered by many to be one of the greatest all-around athletes in Fairport's history. It is our honor to induct Sam Stolt into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Accepting the award tonight on behalf of Sam is Nathaniel and Ray Woodhams, his grandsons. Come on up, guys.
I lost my papers. There they are. Okay. Hey, guys. Proud of your grandson. Nice to meet you guys. Congratulations. Thanks for coming. Yep. Thank you, Kate. Thanks, Larry. If you're growing up in Fairport, Joe, you know this, in the late 50s and 60s, Sam Stolt was Jim Brown, Bob Cousy, if you know who that is, and Mickey Mantle all rolled into one. Amazing athlete, and we wish he could be here tonight. We're so happy his family is. Our last inductee for this evening, extremely deserving, from the class of 1989, is Tasha Woodward Sumner. Mr. Castor, would you come up and help with this? I think Tasha gets the prize also for coming the farthest for the award tonight. She flew up from Atlanta to receive her award, and we're so happy she could be here. I haven't met her yet. I'm looking forward to this in a minute. We've talked on the phone a number of times. When our next inductee was a 7th grader in health class at Martha Brown, her teacher and our head track coach at the time, Don Hayden, spotted her running in a gym class, and as coaches are apt to do, he put on his recruiting hat. He said, he said I should come out for track, Tasha said. Her response, no way. She'd been raised in a strict, conservative religious home where participating in highly competitive sports was strongly discouraged because the faith prioritizes spiritual activities and avoids placing undue emphasis on worldly pursuits like athletics. I talked to my mom, she says, and I talked to my dad. By 9th grade, Dad agreed it was okay, and Mom went along with Dad, so I came out for track as a freshman, and I loved it. I remember how much fun Coach Hayden and Coach Rick Guido made our workouts. I was the little freshman on the 4x100 team. The others, Gina White, Laura Peck, and Nikki Durana, took me under their wing and showed me what being part of a team really meant. We were a small team within a big team. She says Coach Guido was way ahead of his time in encouraging sprinters to do plyometric training. That's jumps and lunges to build muscle strength and power. They were always encouraging us to try new things, like the high jump, which I couldn't do because I couldn't jump backwards. Bounding up hills was another one. Very hard, but fun. Her progress was swift. By the end of her sophomore year, Tasha was the Monroe County champion in the 100-meter hurdles and led that 400 relay team to lower the school record several times. She was third at sectionals, won the Meet of Champions, which was the state qualifier, and came in 12th in the hurdles at the states. She made a hard decision to sit out her junior year, a concession to her faith. But by the time senior year rolled around, she realized how much she missed track. And so she rejoined the team, was off and running to an avalanche of accomplishments. County and sectional titles, state runner-up, a school record that stood until 2017, and multiple athletic scholarship offers to top college track and field programs. She chose Rutgers, having been born in South Jersey, but transferred on a full scholarship to Villanova during winter break of her sophomore year, and soon became the 800-meter champion. And I believe that's in the Big East. In junior and senior years at Villanova, she became an 8-time All-American, 8-time Big East champion, was 7th in the 1996 Olympic trials, and in 2013 was inducted into the Villanova Varsity Club Hall of Fame. All this after telling Coach Guido years before, "I'll never run the 800. She and her husband, Brad Sumner, a McQuaid track record holder and also a Villanova All-American, live in suburban Atlanta. Tasha coaches middle and distance runners at Life University in Marietta, Georgia. Their 2 children, Bryn and Will, have become nationally recognized in their own right as middle distance sprinters, making the Sumner name track and field's first family of the 800 meters. And so it is our honor and privilege to introduce and induct Tasha Woodward Sumner, Fairport class of 1989, into the inaugural class of the Fairport Renovator Athletic Hall of Fame. Tasha. Thank you, Jim. All set? We're good? I didn't get to see Tasha. Well, there you have it, the first class of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. How about a nice round of applause? Everybody standing. Oh, I will. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. We'll wrap it up here in a minute. I want to take a minute to a few thank yous. Somebody took my notes, so hope I don't forget anybody. Have a seat for just one more minute. Thanks. I want to thank Bob Clark. Bob is still here. I think Fairport High School is so lucky to have a man like Bob Clark as their principal. He's out so many nights every week, and I said, Bob, if you want to come tonight, we'd love to have you, but don't feel you need to be here. But Bob Clark, not surprisingly, is here supporting this. He's been a help throughout the whole thing. So, Bob, thank you so much. Do a great job. Also, a quick thank you to Lindsay Reddick. Is Lindsay still around? And Lauren Leon. These 2 guys, when we started this project, I guess were asked to help me. They jumped both feet into the deep end, and they've been great all the way through. Lauren and Lindsay, I really, really, truly appreciate it. We couldn't have done this without you guys. Thank you so much. Yep. And also, there's one guy who I've known for about 35 years. I've known him for about 30. He's been here 35 years. I've known this guy for 30 years. In those 30 years, I've asked him to do at least like 7,000 things to help me. Not once has he said no. Tony Exton has been here for a long time. People always say thank you to him, but I'm taking this opportunity to give him a really sincere, special thank you, because Tony is one of those guys, he knows a lot of stuff that you wish you knew. Like, he knows how to do stuff, like all these pictures and all the computer stuff. I don't know how to do that, but Tony makes it happen, and he always does, and I appreciate it so much. So at some point in time, we're going to create another Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame of Great Guys, and Tony's going to be the first one in it. Thank you, Tony. You found it for me? I've also, last thank you, Peter Whitbeck is an old high school teammate of mine. He provided the awards for us tonight, did a fantastic job with that. So thanks, Peter, and your company for a shout out there. I will mention that nominees for the class of 2025 will be due, it's an easy date to remember, April 15th. That's the deadline for nominees for next year. So if you're interested in nominating somebody, the nomination forms are over on the table over there on your way out. I'm going to ask the inductees to not go anywhere. In a few minutes, we'll be escorting you down to the gym, and before the varsity boys game, in fact, Coach Fitch doesn't mind, Scott's here now. We're going to introduce the inductees to the crowd at the basketball game. We've got special seats for them down there. So don't go anywhere. We'll get you down there with an escort, okay? We have some refreshments left over. So take a few minutes, socialize a little bit. Mainly, thank you all for supporting us and coming. Thank you. Can we ask all the inductees or their reps to come up here for a photo? If you're an inductee or a representative, come on up for a team photo.